Hey everyone, we are back for another week of exciting rehearsals. This week we are fully loaded with the Baltimore Ravens band director, an interview with Drumline Live, and the beginning of our celebration of Black History Month with an interview with Western Carolina band director Jack Eaddy. We will also get to find out what made Trish say.
I didn't want to register early because I didn't know if we could commit to it, and now it might be too late, and it's just things are bugging me. That's bugging me.
And why Ashlee said,
I don't know what exactly I was expecting. I think I was expecting like a recreation of the movie, but it was not that at all.
All this and more, so get out on the field and we will see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go.
Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
Welcome to another episode of Season 2 of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Steve McCarrick. No Jackie tonight, but we have quite a packed show for all you guys listening today. It's the start of Black History Month, so our hosts have amazing interviews and panels that they're going to do all throughout the month. But later on in this episode, Trevor interviews Jack Eaddy, the director of athletic bands at Western Carolina University. Also, Ashlee got to interview a performer from Drumline Live. We also have a special guest clinician joining us this week from the Baltimore Ravens Marching Band, which I am super excited to talk about. I mean, I'm an outspoken Phillies fan, so you guys know that I care about football.
Oh, no.
But hey, my season's over, so I got nothing but praise for the Ravens. But go Birds, baby. Let's see who's hanging on the sidelines this week. We've got Trish.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Very happy to have you back on here. We've got
Happy
Cindy.
to be here.
We've got Cindy.
Hey guys, it's good to see y'all again.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. I think like all the Texas band seems to, that you guys get active a lot earlier than we do up on the East Coast up here. So I feel like I'm excited to hear.
It doesn't get so crazy cold. Although it has been crazy cold the last few years. So
yeah, right. You guys, it's a little.
We go from 110 degrees to maybe a little bit below zero. We got to shake things up a little bit in Texas.
Yeah, honestly, that makes PA not sound that bad at all. But and we've also got Ashlee here on the sidelines this week. How you doing, Ashlee?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, we're glad to have you on here. It's been a little bit since, at least since I've been on the show while you've been here. Our guest clinician this week has a position that only 2 people in the world can actually say that they have. Dan Fake is the band director for the 130-member NFL Baltimore Ravens Marching Band. As a member for over 20 years and band director for the last 8, he emphasizes the diversity of its members, ranging from professional musicians just through and through diehard Baltimore Ravens fans. So when he's not with the Ravens, Dan teaches students at Spring Grove Middle School, using his experiences to help inspire his students. And the Marching Ravens, formerly the Colts Marching Band, they have a rich history in Baltimore starting back in 1947. In this sense, they kind of symbolize the resilience and the community spirit that city kind of really embodies. So we're very happy to have you on the show. Everybody, welcome Dan Fake.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's good to
Welcome.
be here.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey.
Thank you for coming on, man. It's really cool to have someone on the show like yourself who, I mean, really, like with the Ravens on the run that they're on right now, really is at the peak of the activity in a sense. Like this is as legit as it gets. It's really cool that you're here.
Well, thank you.
Let's start off our interview the way we do all of them. We want to hear your 32 count life story, Dan. Are you ready to give it to us in 8 bars?
I'll do my best.
Cool. All right, here we go.
So I'm from York County, Pennsylvania. I actually teach middle school general music and chorus as my day job. Marching Ravens is a part-time job that we pretty much year-round at this point. But I started teaching in Baltimore County, been with the Ravens ever since. And so that's kind of the short version of how I got here.
Wow, okay. So I think you started with the Ravens band about 20 years ago, right?
Actually, it's almost exactly 20 years. It'd be 20 years in March.
Wow. Okay. So, how initially did you get involved? Maybe what instrument or what were you doing?
Right out of college, I started teaching in Baltimore County. Taught at a school, Southwest Academy, and the band director there. When you first start teaching, you got get your foot in the door. We'll start anywhere to get started. And my first teaching job was orchestra and chorus. And the band director was a member of the band, Marching Ravens, and we had talked pretty quickly about joining the band. I'm a saxophone player by heart. That's
Okay.
where all of my college training went, was music education and through the band realm, playing saxophone. And so I started with the Marching Ravens playing saxophone as well.
Right. Nice. So I think for a lot of people that would be listening, it's actually a surprise to hear that the Baltimore Ravens has a full-sized marching band, kind of like what you're used to in college. Why don't you go through and tell us just a little bit about the ensemble, maybe the size of it, compare and contrast it to a traditional marching band?
If we compare it to like a college band, we would be about the same size as I believe around Duke, kind of like Duke University, a big name but a little bit smaller university band. We've got about somewhere around 115, 120 marchers this season. We do
Okay.
have a support staff. We've got crew. We have instructional staff. So the full size of the band with everyone involved is somewhere around that 150 to 160 range.
Wow.
So it is a big band. It's a full size. We traditional marching instruments. We don't have a front ensemble, so everything is on the field. We also don't have a color guard. Everyone,
Oh,
I
Sad
know.
days.
We used to, but business decisions, things get changed, and everyone had to be producing sound, and so we are now music all musician, with the exception of our support and instructional staff. We got piccolos, flutes, clarinets, saxophones. I'm excited. We're marching 3 Barry saxes this year. They're great. I love Barry
Okay.
saxes.
All
We got
right.
some mellophones, trumpets, trombones, baritones, sousaphones, and full drum line.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you guys is it the same show for the length of the season, or do you do different shows week to week?
The answer to that is yes. We have, so we perform at pregame each game, and sometimes we play at halftime. Variety kind of is a little bit more of the tradition in the NFL, whereas college is pretty much, marching band has halftime. But in the NFL, we go for a little bit more variety, especially considering the fact that we are one of the few marching bands that are in the league. We have a show that we have that's dedicated to Baltimore. We have it's kind of like a traditional pregame show. We float the logo down the field. We perform the shape up the Lombardi Trophy. We do
Nice.
our B logo, which is pretty
touching the money,
recognizable.
touching the money.
Yep.
With that Lombardi, touching the money.
And we end with our fight song. So that particular show is very visually and musically Baltimore. The music that we play there is called Relentless, which was written after our defense, and it's a theme and variations on our fight song. And then we have another piece called Call of the Wild, like the Raven Call, and a fanfare that starts it off. And then we also do some more traditional halftime style of show that aren't quite as detailed visually or as in-depth visually for the marchers, but it's a little bit more visually appealing to your football fans, where we'll make some shapes on the field. Like we did a holiday show for Christmas, New Year's. We did salute to service show for our veterans, a Halloween show, and we did a Warp to Tour show this year. So we had 4 different halftime style shows and 1 more traditional pregame show. So the
That's
pregame, we
interesting.
start back in August, and we're actually performing that at the AFC Championship. And then the
Nice.
halftime style shows, sometimes they're actually at pregame to create some variety. So we have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that makes sense to me to hear that, like, maybe sometimes the halftime show gets shifted around. I'm actually in the Eagles drum line, which is
nice.
just a drum line. We don't have the whole band.
Yeah.
But I'm a little familiar with how in a big NFL event, there's a lot of hands in the pot, and there's a lot of different entertainment performances that are going to happen outside of the football game. So it's not always getting the same time slot week to week.
And one of the things that's driving what we do is those entertainment rankings within the league. So right now the Ravens are ranked number 2 entertainment wise. And
Okay.
to get to that number 1, you try and figure out, all right, what's going to gain that number 1? What are we going to do to get there?
We know
So
we know.
that's what we're going for.
I'm thinking of the Chiefs, and we know what their number 1 entertainment is at the moment.
Yeah. That name
And her
shall not be
initials are
mentioned in
TS.
Baltimore this week.
No.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, go Birds. I'm
Yeah.
Well, do y'all
I'm a
have a
big
special
supporter.
show planned for the Super Bowl, or will you just repeat one?
If we got to get to the win first, and hopefully by the time folks hear this, we've got that win. But
Well,
in the
yeah.
NFL, unfortunately, because it's different than college bands. So in the NFL, the full band would not be able to go because
Oh.
it's everything's kind of run by the league. You
Mhm.
got I forget who the halftime show is this year for
Usher.
the Super Bowl. Usher.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
all of that's
right.
already planned out.
Yeah.
You never know until 2 weeks before the game if you're going. So colleges have about a month or so to get things ready. We've got
Mhm.
2 weeks. So unfortunately, we won't be able to.
Does anyone go? Because I remember when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, a couple lucky people who have been around for a long time got some special tickets to bring their drum.
Gotcha. To be honest, I'm not sure. If we can win, if we get this game, this will be the 3rd Super Bowl for the Ravens, but the last 2 band members did not go. However,
Aw.
we performed in London this past year.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I think a
Sweet.
couple years before. So, and we had some band members who went there, both of those trips. So I'd like to tell you I'm keeping a secret, but I'm really not. I have no idea.
Right.
It's all hit and miss.
I was actually part of the MetLife halftime show, and I can tell you it's all pre-planned, it's all scripted and whatever. So what they did was they reached out to marching bands in northern New Jersey, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
Because obviously we know how to move around a football field. So it was the Bruno Mars Red Hot Chili Peppers halftime. And we had a couple of rehearsals. We had one at an armory in Morristown. And then we were supposed to have 2 at MetLife, but they ended up only having 1. So when we met at the armory, it was like, like the blocking. Okay. My marching band was at like pod 9 or whatever. So you're in this pod, you're going to move from here to here. You're going to move. So funny story, not to sidetrack or whatever, but when we had the rehearsal at MetLife, they told us no phones, no anything, 'cause it was all supposed to be like, it's supposed to look like a big flash mob cheering for Bruno Mars. It's not. It's all rehearsed. It's all scripted. So I didn't bring my phone in. So the night of the actual event, our staging area was at the movie theater in Clifton Commons, which is just a few miles down Route 3 from MetLife. And I locked my phone in my glove compartment, and I went to go line up to go into the movie theater. And our music supervisor we all went. The band director, a bunch of the kids, me, guard staff, or anybody who was able to go went. And you had to commit to all the rehearsals and everything. You had to sign all the NDAs and everything. So I locked my phone in my glove compartment, and I went to the theater, and he says to me, "Where's your phone?" I said, I locked it in my car. And he goes, "Go get it." And I said, "No, I'm not getting my phone taken away." Because the night we rehearsed at MetLife, they were taking phones away left and right. So I said, "I'm not getting my phone." He goes, "No." He goes, "No, just go get your phone." So I'm like, all right. So I run back, I get my phone. I'm like, this better not get taken away from me. So we go in, they put each pod in a theater. They closed the Clifton Commons movie theater for the day. And then they put each pod in a theater. So when the producers came into our pod, they were like, "Look, we know you all have your phones. Which is the only thing we're going to ask is don't post anything until after it happens, because it's all supposed to look like a spontaneous and a surprise. I mean, right down to the, cheer with your left hand, cheer with your right hand. It was all scripted. It was all, so I was part of the halftime show, but the pregame show was all New Jersey people too. Like some bands were a part of that too, but not doing their show. Like Queen Latifah, I think, sang. So South Brunswick High School marched out with her. Like it was all, so I get it. It's, if you guys don't get to go, it would be a huge bummer, but not a surprise because it's all orchestrated by, for us, it was Pepsi. I don't know the Super Bowl, but
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't know. We
remember.
got pretty cool swag and stuff. It was an experience. It was so great. It was just great. So I'm sure the
That's
championship game is going to be the same kind of vibe for you guys.
I think
I'd
it's going to be off the
actually
charts. It's going to
Yeah,
be
I
awesome.
do too. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are going to have quite some energy up there. This something I just remembered, man, with the Eagles drumline, we get a lot of merch. That's something that maybe people don't realize
That's
with
cool.
NFL drumlines. Tons of merch is what I've experienced. What's like some of the perks of being in the Baltimore Ravens marching band?
I think the perks kind of vary from person to person. For some folks,
Okay.
we get to be in the game, and we are seated at field level.
That's
We're
nice.
off the side of the visitors bench, so we're not on the home side, but we're at field level, and probably I'm not. This is probably not 100% accurate, but probably about 15 feet off the sideline. So we're back a little bit. So for some folks, it'd be, I'm right there in the mix. For other folks, it's just the fact that you can get to the game. As far as like the tangible perks, we do have our band gear that we get each year. We did a Blues Brothers show a couple years ago, and the Blues Brothers have that "I'm with the band" kind of saying. So since then, we've had a shirt that says "I'm with the band," and it's got the Ravens.
Oh, I
The
love
Ravens
that.
logo on
That's
it and
cute.
in script, which is kind of fun. So we've got that each year. That's like, hey, this is the 2023 "I'm with the band" shirt. Some things like that. They did a giveaway with a scarf right around London, and we got those. So sometimes if they have a giveaway for the stadium, we are able to get it. Not all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. We get so much free merch doing the Eagles stuff where it's just like, I feel sometimes like I make more money off of merch than I do off of my part-time employment. Yeah.
Well, most of ours is pretty specific. It's not even available to the general public, a lot of it.
That's nice.
So it's kind of memento sort of things.
I have to imagine it would be hard maybe to treat you guys the exact same way they treat us because of the numbers difference. Like there's way less people in a drum line than there is in the 160 person marching band.
Yeah.
But I actually think, just speaking briefly, I'll hijack for my deceased Philadelphia Eagles. I'll hijack the podcast for a moment.
Oh no.
We I think they put us up in like a lot of the like clothes that they want to push through the pro shop. They'll put them on the drum line and then like parade us through the tailgate lots where we play for a lot of the fans. Because it's kind of like modeling.
Advertising.
Exactly. It's like all these people in the tailgate lots are going in the stadium. Many of them are going to go to the pro shop. Let's make sure we put the drum line in the new Kelly green jacket today.
I could see that.
So it's nice. Anybody out there who is considering it should go for their NFL drum lines or marching bands. But
drum lines are definitely more readily available than marching bands.
There's a lot of them now.
We've got the Commanders have a band. I think the Texans have a pep band. I believe the Broncos have a pep band that's a little bit smaller. Drum lines definitely all over the place. There's not a whole lot of bands per se. I think there's a few that are out there that we don't realize. The Sounders, Seattle Sounders MLS team has a great band out there, but no band for their football game. Yeah.
Honestly, I bet in that arena, a band would probably really add to the environment. They have such like a loud and just like kind of hostile home environment. It'd be cool.
Did you say hostile?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Anytime the Eagles go there, they lose. That's because it's hostile.
And this is a good thing for the marching bands?
It's good if you like Seattle.
Yeah.
It's not good for anyone else, but it's good for the home team.
I have a question about the audition process. How does that work? Like, do you have to prove? Obviously, you have to play an instrument. I mean, obviously, but the marching aspect, is that something y'all teach them, or do they need to sort of prove they know how to do it?
We do have two levels of audition. One of them is the music piece of it. So you got to definitely show that, yes, you can play your instrument, and some of it is prepared and some of it is, we do have a sight reading piece just to make sure that it's not like, hey, I learned things.
One song.
It's going to be really, learn things by rote and playing it over and over again or hearing it. Like I can actually read the music which will make our rehearsals go much more efficient. And then the marching piece, we have 2 segments to that. One of it is just the basics. Do you understand the basic moving, marching? And it doesn't really matter what style you come from. If your style is more of a high step, but we see that you understand the movement, the basic idea of marching, you're going to pass that. What we're really trying to look for in the marching is those folks who maybe have no idea really what marching is and just like, hey, let me come and, to come to the game because I think this is going to be, I'm going to come to a game and that's that. It is a lot. Obviously, we know it's a lot more to marching band than just football games. And then the other piece that we look at is drill learning. There's a segment where you get like 3 dots, 3 drill positions, and you learn them. And if it looks like you really have no idea where that learning curve is, or that learning piece of it is, we know we're going to have to spend a lot more time teaching drill. We're going to have to really break things down early on to get you caught up. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to make the band. If you're one person and you're a really strong musician and you're a really good basics marcher and just have a really hard time learning, you got 2 out of 3 things. You're going to be successful. It's just, we just know up front it's going to take a little bit that we have to get you to the learning the drill a little bit faster.
Okay.
So those 3 things get factored together, and they're all done separately by separate people. When you do the drill, the basics, we have 2 people who judge that, and they don't talk to the folks who do the drill learning part of it. So it's completely separate. That way, if you go in there and you're having a really hard time on your first part of your audition, you just got the nerves and you just can't seem to march basics. You got that through. You got the jitters out. You're going to drill learning and you're nailing it. They don't know what happened in the other room. And then our music is a blind music audition. The judges will be facing away from you. You'll have a number, and someone will announce your number. Next audition, number 302. And that's all the judges will hear until you play. That way, they're focused 100% on what they're hearing, listening to the musicality, listening to intonation, making sure that, in that case, we've been using section leaders. They would be part of the audition process. And then by facing away, I'm not going to inflate scores for my friends or deflate because I've had some different experiences. We're trying to keep it as 100% about that performance as we can.
Yeah, it's very objective. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's the goal.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's very professional too.
That's our goal. Yeah, it can, depending on when you show up to the audition day, it can be a very long day. So we're still trying to tweak some things. We have some flaws in the system that we have to iron out. One year we started at like 8:00 in the morning, and the last person wasn't done until 6:00 at night. We're like, that's way too long. That's too much. So we spread it out some, but then we got a backlog, and we had one group start at 9, the next group was at noon. But things didn't happen as fast as we thought, and then there was a backlog at the noon group, which pushed the 3:00 group back, and people got frustrated because, man, you told me to be here at noon. I didn't even start auditioning until 2. Fair enough. So we do have some flaws. We try and figure them out, but the goal is to be as objective as we can to get the best ensemble out there that we can.
I was reading somewhere that you have a father and a son that are in the band. There's no age limit, I guess.
The only limit for age is you have to be 18 or older.
Okay.
Yep. So as long as you're 18 I think it's by the start of the season, by the start of the marching season, which for us is in May.
Okay.
Sometime I can't remember. I think they relaxed that a little bit. I mean, it's not much difference because the audition happens at the beginning of April. You have to be 18 by the time rehearsals start. It's only a month difference there, so it doesn't really impact a whole lot of folks. Then as far as the upper end, as long as you can march the shows, as long as you can do the music, that's the part that matters the most. So yeah, we do. It's kind of cool. We have a father-son.
Yeah.
The son just graduated from Penn State, and Dad said,
"Hey,
I wanted to be able to be able to perform with my son." And he's like, "This is a great opportunity." So they came out and auditioned this year, and it's wonderful to have them with us. Great guys.
Yeah, that's
really
awesome.
cool.
That's really cool.
It's not too common that can even happen.
Yeah,
I have a couple friends that are in the marching band with the Ravens. They're all from University of Delaware.
Oh,
so
yeah.
One of the drum majors, a trumpet player, a mellophone.
We've got a
I always see
ton
them
of
post
Delaware
about it.
folks.
I love it.
Yeah, we got a ton of Delaware folks. It's a good group. Obviously, we know Delaware folks know marching band, and so it's neat to have a large alumni contingency come and join us.
Right. Yeah. As you look back, you've been there for 20 years now.
Mhm.
Is there maybe a most memorable moment that you something that stands out as just a great time with the Ravens organization, or what do you think?
There's a couple of moments that really stick out. To try and pick one is a little bit tough, but there's
Of
one. The
course.
first significant, memorable moment that I had. Ray Lewis is probably our most recent, big player. He
Yeah.
rallied Baltimore. He was huge in the defense. He got us to a Super Bowl. I mean, Ray Lewis was our guy. He was our premier player. He was our superstar. And when he went to the Hall of Fame, the band was able to go to Canton and play
Oh,
in the
wow.
parade. So this was the first time that in my time with the band, we were actually able, we had an away trip because everything is home games. You don't do away games in the NFL. So we never go anywhere.
Yeah.
We had done Macy's in 2007, but to go to Canton is an overnight trip. First time that we had done that since we became the Baltimore Ravens. And Ray Lewis's signature song is Hot in Here. We played Hot in Here and mashed it up with Hall of Fame and put the two of those songs together. And to see his facial reaction when he realized that we were playing his song as you come into the parade was pretty awesome, because bands come in one street, the players come in another street, and then the folks who separate the players and the bands, kind of like the floats, the cars, they came in from a different street. So we were facing Ray Lewis, and we said, if we see him before we step on this parade route, we're playing the song. We don't care what they say. We're playing the song. So we did, and he was just sitting there. He's waving at people, and all of a sudden he has that realization, wait a minute, I know that song. And then to get that nod from him was awesome, just because it's a signature song. That was his move.
Mhm.
Every time he came out of the
Yeah.
tunnel, that song happened, and he did that dance.
Yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
that's super cool, man.
That's a
sick.
cool story.
All right. Well, let's get to our gush and goes for the week. Trish, you want to get us started with your gush for the week?
Sure. What do I want to gush about? There's so much going on. Well, my Winter Guard has their first competition on Saturday at West Orange High School. I guess that's a good thing. I'm a Catholic school educator, so next week is Catholic Schools Week, and we're going to have a bunch of fun at school, whole bunch of student faculty volleyball games and all kinds of fun stuff. So that'll be hopefully will be a fun week. So, everything's all good over here in New Jersey, except for the Giants, of course. And I'm a Giants fan,
Well,
but even worse than that is the Jets. So,
Well, that's never going to be good for you. So we'll move on.
What?
Ashlee, what do you want to gush and go on about this week?
What?
Well, the Ravens are my home team, so they're in the AFC Championship this weekend, so that's pretty awesome.
Go Birds.
My indoor color guard, this is the first year that they're doing it. So our first competition is in, I think, a few weeks. So we're still getting the show together and putting it all together. And I'm just excited to see it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
What circuit are you competing in?
TIA.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my kids are much around the same spot. That's actually probably my gush and go for the week, is just really enjoying this time of year, because this is where real serious work gets done. Fundamentally, my students are really improving right now. And as you get closer to the end of the year, they're just getting better at their show. I mean, they're still getting better, but you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of really good groundwork that gets laid right around now. So it's fun. My kids are working hard. It's cool. Cindy, what do you want to gush and go on about?
Well, of course, I'm a Houston Texans fan, but we won't talk about that. Although I thought a great moment was when the Texans won in the Colts stadium. And I was like, Texas burns down Lucas Oil Stadium again.
Oh my gosh, I'm the only one in here who didn't make the playoffs last year.
But my actual gush and go is in Texas. The Winter Guard season also really gets started this weekend, which kind of amazes me. Like, these kids really haven't been working on their show that long, and to think that we're already throwing them into competition. But in Texas, the Texas Color Guard Circuit, TCGC, is getting started this weekend, and it's percussion, it's winds, and it's guard. And in Texas, we don't have a lot of winds and percussion going on in the winter, so that's something I'm excited to see more of, and I really hope that it will take off more, because Texas really needs a presence in the winds and the percussion, I feel like, because we've got the guard thing going on, but I love seeing the growth in the other areas too.
I hear you, but I already struggle enough to beat the California groups. I don't need Texas to rise up to that level too. It's not going to be good for us over here at United if Texas is as good as it should be at percussion. All right. Dan, do you have anything you'd want to gush and go on about, and just anything in your life that you think would be fun to talk?
Well, hearing you guys talk about your students, I mean, I didn't know what what backgrounds were, because I just got some info today. So hearing about the students, I'm going to go that route. As you heard, I teach chorus. We've got a festival coming up next week, and I've got 12 kids who are doing this thing. And I was like, you know what? Here's the deal. I'm not teaching this music. Here's some practice tracks. You need to learn it. And so seeing them go from I have to do what to, oh yeah, this song, I know this is really easy. Where they're kind of coming into their own and realizing I can do this by myself, and I don't need to have an adult show me how to do it.
Yeah.
I love those moments. Those are kind of fun. We talk about them happening all the time in marching band, but it happens in every ensemble, orchestra, chorus, band, jazz band. I just like that part of the year where they start to mature and figure out who they are and how to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
like
great.
You're giving them the tools, and then they can
Yeah.
go and do as they please with those tools. That's cool. That's kind of the best thing I feel like we can do as educators.
Yeah.
But cool. All right, everyone, let's head out there so we can get these stand tunes ready for, this upcoming AFC Championship game on Sunday. But we will be back with the news after Trevor talks to Western Carolina University band director Jack Eaddy.
Hey, this is Christine Ream
and Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
Hello, this is Trevor Bailey, and welcome to On a Water Break. It's February, so you know what that means. We are celebrating Black History Month on our podcast. It's an honor to be joined here by my colleague and my friend, Dr. Jack A. Eaddy, Jr., Director of Athletic Bands at Western Carolina University. Hello, Jack. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me here.
Hey, it's a joy having you on our podcast. Jack, one thing that we do with our newer guests is we kick it off with a 32 count wife story, my friend. So what will happen, we'll set a metronome. You'll get 8 counts and you're in. And for 32 counts of the metronome, roughly, you will give us your background and your life story. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
8 counts and you're in. Here we go.
I'm from the big metropolis of Orangeburg, South Carolina. I am the son of an elementary educator and a band director. Education and band was always going to be a part of my life, and I've been just blessed to have great people and great teachers and mentors alike. I've had band directors in my early stage that taught me that no matter who walks through the door, that you can teach them to be the best version of themselves, and I strive to do that each and every day. I come from an interesting situation. I went to an all-black high school, and we're a corps-style band. And you don't see that pretty often, but we were really, really good, and we used to kick butt in the state of South Carolina.
Awesome.
But my band director, who's really one of my biggest inspirations in life, he pushed me to go to Florida State. And there, one of the best experiences of my life. Go Noles!
Oh, yeah. Oh.
But seriously, and there at Florida State, I learned how to be an adult like we all do in college. And I had people who kind of took me by the wing and said, "You're not going to fail, and we're going to push you forward." And I kind of do the same thing with my students. From there, I had the opportunity to teach at Title I schools in Orlando, Florida. We didn't have a lot, but we were able to do some really, really great things, be super, super successful. And I'm super proud that every kid that graduated under me got some kind of scholarship to go to college, which is awesome. So, and that taught me just to work with anyone, and that no matter anyone's situation, that they can be successful, that they can have, they can be super, super amazing musicians and whatnot. From there, I decided to start my life over, and I went back to grad school.
Okay.
And I have a master's from the University of Georgia, go Dogs, and my doctor's from the University of North Texas, go Mean Green. And there I was able to work with some super high level ensembles, and it was just great to be in the presence of just amazing professionals, amazing musicians that push you to be the best version of yourself. From there, I've had the opportunity to teach at University of South Carolina, Monique State University, and now Western Carolina, where we were able to do some amazing things in this truly, truly special program. And I couldn't do any of this without my amazing family, my wife, who I call my queen, because she is, and my princess, who's my oldest daughter, and my angel, who's my youngest daughter.
That is an awesome life story. That was a great 32 counts. Extended 32 counts. That's what happens when you're awesome. You have a lot to talk about, and it's very nice to kind of get your backstory, Jack. I'll kick it off with the first question for our Black History Month podcast. So we want to know, what was your experience like as a Black performer in the marching arts? Can you kind of break that down for us?
Well, it was interesting. Like I said earlier, I went to an all-black high school who was corps style. A lot of times, if you're at an all-black high school, it's traditional style, marching band, and we weren't. And so we competed, and so it's already a different situation, seeing this all-black band go to a traditional corps style competition. And my high school band director would have us dress up like shirt and tie to every competition. People just stare at us. And it was kind of unbelievable to see that this school, how, well, you listening may not know, but people, look at you a certain way because they don't think you fit the mold of what should be.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we would go there, and we would be some of one of the best marching bands there. And really, really proved that you can't judge a book by its cover. And then from there, I go to Florida State, which is the total opposite, which, you become the one Black person in the mix. And so
what was that experience like, going from many where you felt like there was a collective to maybe now there's a sense of like isolation? Was there some nervousness? Were you hesitant about going to Florida State, or were you like kind of gung-ho and ready to prove yourself?
Well, for me, I was gung-ho. I was ready to get out of South Carolina. I wasn't staying in South Carolina. And I told my mom, once I'm leaving, I'm not coming back. And
was it because the barbecue didn't taste right?
Oh, no. There's nothing like South Carolina barbecue.
Okay. All right. Going on. So you're at Florida State. You're gung ho about it. All right. So you get there. What is that experience like?
And so just like a lot of these experiences, you learn how to deal with it. You learn how to, like, you see another Black person, like, oh, we're together, and we kind of come together. But it's not like I was lucky. Like many of our marching arts experiences, we go into places that we consider safe spaces where people may become our families, and we come and we love each other. It was different to be in a different culture and an experience. Like, we would play insert 80s rock tune, insert 70s rock tune, and everyone knew all the words, and I'm just like,
I don't know this tune. Yeah,
this arrangement is amazing. And so dealing with it, but fast forward 20 years, it's so cool to see everyone's playing music that everyone knows now, which makes it super special.
Good. Thank you for that. We're going to kind of move on to like a lighthearted question before we push on to like the more serious questions. So here we go. So we ask all our new guests this month, all right, if you were a part of a marching band show, which part of the marching band show would you be and why?
All right, I got two answers.
All right.
Two right.
We're ready.
When you first meet me, I think I'm the opening hit. Like, I'm in your face. I want to peel the paint off the wall. Like, I want to really get to know you. I'm really open with you. And
so you're all about like first impressions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But as we get to know each other, I consider myself the soft part of the show, like the part where you can just take a breath and enjoy it, because I also want to be that person who you can rely on, who that there's comfort in me being in your life.
Oh, I love that. That's a great two-part answer, Jack. The next question, just kind of going back, how has your experiences like as a performer? We talked about your performer at the predominantly Black high school. Your experience as a performer at Florida State. Can you talk about how that has kind of like prepared you or shaped you to be the director of these prominent marching ensembles, whether that's McNeese State or you're serving as a graduate assistant at some big SEC band, or now being the director of athletic bands at Western Carolina University? How did your experience as a performer shape you as a director?
Well, myself, and I'm sure many Black people, we're told from early age that you want to make sure you're twice as good as anyone, because one, you're representing more than yourself, and it's kind of something, a mantra that we all live with. And so in today's day, or just in this profession, I want to be the best version of any band director. Like, I want to be a great musician. I want to be one that we have innovative shows, one that people, can look on and rely on us. But at the same time, I have this little person in the back of my head that's like, you want to make sure we are doing the great thing for us. I hope I'm answering the question.
No, you're doing a really good job. I think that, sometimes, we carry maybe this kind of like invisible burden a little bit of, making sure that, we are high achievers, that we really kind of are really these excellent musicians, these excellent teachers, while continuing to be excellent learners. So when we get these more like prominent jobs of like these high profile positions, we want to make sure that we're doing right by the profession to make sure that maybe people behind us will also have those opportunities, that, we don't want to screw it up, because like you said, we feel like we have to be kind of twice as good as the normal person to get maybe half the credit. So I definitely understand like where you're coming from with that.
And the other part is like, so I am the first African-American music professor in Western Carolina School of Music. And I'm not, this has happened all over. This happened more and more nowadays. And so we want to make sure that we represent and we are doing right. I think the other side of the token is like, I want to be successful for me. I want to be successful for my students, the ones who look like me and the ones who don't look like me. And I think, I've been blessed with some amazing experiences. And like, I wouldn't be who I am. Like, I taught at Oak Ridge High School, Title I underserved population, and I wouldn't be the person I am now without that experience.
Yeah, thank you for that. Speaking of being the person you are, the next questions, we kind of transitions quite nicely. So I'll ask you, how have your mentors shaped you? Who are those people? What have they done for you? Can you kind of like give them a shout out too? Because I'm pretty sure that they're incredibly proud of you and the work that you're doing.
Well, I have always been a person that has had people in my life that refuse to let me fail and guide me in the right direction. From my high school band director, who encouraged me to go to Florida State.
Who is that? Who's that? Give that high school band director a shout out.
His name is Dwight McMillan.
All right, Dwight McMillan. Thank you for Jack Eaddy. We appreciate you.
But no, he was very, very tough, and he demanded everyone be the best version of themselves. And so no matter what was going on, like I can still remember, we didn't have lights on our field, and practice was supposed to get out at 6, and it was 6:45, and the parents weren't complaining. They just pulled their car up to the field and shined the lights on the field so we could keep practicing. And so that was just so cool. And then when I started teaching, I had, mentors that would just not pull me aside. They'd say, no, we're going to lunch, we're going to dinner, or no, that sucks, or no. I'll give a big shout out to Bernard Hendricks, Bernie Hendricks, Bruce Green. And they really, I don't know if they saw something in me or they just wanted to make sure I was going to be successful. I knew what was going on. I knew, that wasn't right. And they knew, I was that little dorky band director. I kept a little pocket-sized notebook in my pocket. Anytime I thought of a question, I write it down so I could ask those people. And so it's cool to have those people that they see something in you and they make sure you have the tools to success. And even to this day, I rely on all of my major professors. Shout out to Nick Williams, who, he really, after lots of annoying, he really, saw something in it and allowed me to thrive. And he continues to push me and he continues to encourage me well beyond what I think I could or should do. And then the last part is my text group.
Okay.
Like we all got into this together, and we can ask each other questions. We share clips of our each other's groups. We say, no, that sucks, or no, you shouldn't do that. We give advice to each other in a real way. And I want to encourage everyone, like, you check who's in your text group. Like, is your text group one that's going to hold you accountable, or one that's just going to like say, no, you're great. And you want the text group that's going to hold you accountable. No, your band can't play that music, or that song should never be in your marching show. That kind of thing.
Yeah, and I also think that those type of groups could be valuable when they give you that praise. Like, oh, yes, absolutely, you should do that research topic, or my gosh, like that sounds amazing. Bravo on your, wind ensemble concert. That was a great live stream. So I'm pretty sure there's a great balance there that, when the praise comes, it's legitimate because there's a high level of vulnerability and transparency and honesty, like within those support system. And it's really great to hear that you have that. And as you said, like, we encourage everyone that's listening to a podcast to get those type of support systems around you. It's only going to build a positive atmosphere. Yeah, awesome. All right, we'll move on. So, like, you talked about like your mentors and how they shaped you. Like, so how do you give back? Like, the importance of giving back to the profession, to other conductors of color or educators of colors, African American band directors, students. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I like I said, I've had so many people who were instrumental in my career, and it's because they took the initiative to come to me, and they made sure I was going to be successful regardless. And so I believe it's my job to do the same thing. And so I think we in this music world, we work hard, we practice our instruments, we do it, we learn our craft, and then we get to a point to where we then become the experts. And I know it's kind of hard to say that out loud. But then we have all the information that we didn't when we were first year, second year, third year, fifth year teachers. Mm-hmm. And so, we want to share the information. So I've kind of created some avenues for young teachers, young old teachers, so that we can ask questions, we can learn from each other. Because I think, we're in this profession where it's all about giving of yourself to the students. And we want to make sure we're giving all the information, all the resources. And sometimes when you're young in the profession, you don't know what you need to ask. You're just going in blind and doing the thing. And so hopefully these resources will be helpful for teachers, so that they can be better directors and continue to grow in their profession.
Hey, I got to ask you for a shout out of some of those platforms you're talking about, because somebody may be listening and may want to join or be or feel like I want to be a part of something like that. So could you let the listeners know like what type of things you can maybe help provide to like those next generation of teachers, and where you guys meet, when you typically meet in the school year, that kind of thing?
We host host this thing called Listen Up. It's started off as a score study group, and it's primarily a score study group, but it's more of an all-encompassing group. And we have band directors, young and old, and from all walks of life, from middle school to college, there. And we meet Sundays starting in the early spring all the way through the summer. We give the marching season off because it's a little busy.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit busy. But it's called Listen Up, and we have a Facebook group, and we Zoom on Sundays at 7 Eastern. And it's just an opportunity. Like, it's a community that we come together, and it's a consistent 12 people that come. And so, each Sunday it's more that join in, but we have this idea, like, we have someone present on something, whether it be a score, whether it be a topic. And then we just ask questions like, what's wrong? What's going on? What do you want to know? What do you need to know? That kind of thing. So that we can all like learn and grow. And, a lot of times you don't know the questions you need to ask. And so if someone asks a question like, oh, that's me too. And then you can learn and take something from it.
That's awesome. And Listen Up sounds like a really great opportunity for students, band directors, both young and old, from all different walks of life, to kind of join in and have another resource. So check out Listen Up on Facebook. They have their own group led by Dr. Jack Eaddy. One last question as we wrap up with you here, Jack. Kind of looking towards the future. What do you want to see in the next generation of African-American performers and directors? Like, what does that look like in your perfect world of Dr. Eaddy?
Whew, that's a question.
That's a question. That's a question and a half right there. Yeah.
First, I want everyone to be comfortable in their skin of them being themselves. And everyone's version of themselves is different. And so you being comfortable being you, because I think we become the best teachers when we are our authentic selves. And a lot of times we give the fake version of ourselves to the students because we don't think we can do that. We can act that way. But then when you realize when you're just you, the realness comes out. They see you. They can relate to that. And then this becomes a better experience. The other part is we in the marching arts world, sometimes we forget that music and musicianship is a part of this thing. And so we have to really focus on being good musicians at all time in all aspects and all facets of the group. And then lastly, I also am enjoying seeing the fact that we're seeing more genres of music being played.
Absolutely.
And I take it as like, it's not just like the band directors playing the music that they like. It's people playing music that reaches everyone. And that's important nowadays, especially if, us as marching arts want to survive. Like we can't just play the hate song over and over. We have to play,
yeah.
We have to play music that's going to reach
the masses, right?
The masses, and that becomes important. And then lastly, I just want to see us continue to thrive and continue to be the leaders that I know we are.
And that's a great breakdown of the type of future that we all hope to see. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us here at On a Water Break, celebrating Black History Month with the prominent African-American Black director, Dr. Jack A. Eaddy Jr., Director of Athletic Bands here at Western Carolina University. My friend, thank you so much. Definitely appreciate you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Lexi Duda, and I'm the host of On a Water Break in Rhinestones. I've grown up a competitive baton twirler, winning numerous world titles, and now I'm a coach. I want to bring to you stories from twirlers from all over. So grab a water break, listen in, because you won't want to miss some of these incredible experiences these twirlers have had. All of this coming up and more on a Water Break in Rhinestones.
All throughout February, our hosts will be bringing stories and conversations surrounding Black History Month. Stay tuned all month long for some amazing content. We've been talking about Drumline Live actually for a few weeks now too, and Ashlee got a chance to see it live. Ashlee, tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I actually had gotten the tickets for it for me and my dad to go for Christmas. And my dad originally got tickets in 2020, like before COVID, and then, it got canceled. So we got to go now, and it was, I don't know what exactly I was expecting. I think I was expecting like a recreation of the movie, but it was not that at all. It was like more of like an exhibition kind of thing. Like they started with like more of a tribal setting, like with like African style music, and then moved throughout like the history of like the impact of Black people with the music and like how that's impacted all of the different styles of music, and then traveled throughout like to the marching band side of it. So
Yeah,
it was
that's pretty
really,
interesting.
really interesting. And the area that I'm from isn't particularly diverse. So I personally haven't had a lot of experience seeing HBCU bands. Like there's Del State that comes to University of Delaware every so often,
Mhm.
but I've seen them a couple times, and then I saw Morgan State actually last year for the first time. So that was like the first, I feel like, real experience that I've had, in the pouring
Yeah.
rain last year. So, but it was amazing. I just like, they're so energetic, and the energy like from the audience members, and we were in the front row, so they were
Oh,
like
nice.
looking at us and pointing at us, and they actually got someone to go up on stage and like sing and dance with them. So it was interactive with the audience too. It was really awesome.
That is cool.
Fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You were talking about like HBCU, not being too familiar with it until very recently. It's been kind of like catapulting in its growth within like the last year or two, the whole entire like show band activity, to the point where like now it's honestly pretty much definitely bigger than drum corps. It's like doing televised competitions in Mercedes-Benz Stadium and stuff. It's like it's really grown to be a whole activity of itself that's becoming pretty prominent. It's pretty cool. So we've got an interview here with, I believe, Ashlee. Was that a performer from
Yes,
Drumline
it was
Live?
one of the Drumline members, I believe. His name is D'Angelo. He talks about like where they're all from and what the experience is like. I had no idea that it was like they have a different cast every single year, and it's kind of like a different show every single year.
Mhm.
So it was just a lot different than what I was expecting, but in a really awesome way.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like it's a lot different than what you were expecting, but in some senses, it also sounds like it mirrors the way traditional band works, where it's like there's a season, a length of a season that involves preparing a performance, doing a bunch of shows, that thing wrapping up and getting on to the next year at the end.
Yeah.
So I always think it's kind of cool now seeing like some of the more like independent professional stuff that's out there, like offsprings of the marching arts almost. So let's check this out. Let's see how what it was like talking to him.
This is Ashlee with On a Water Break. I have D'Angelo here from Drumline Live. Hi, D'Angelo. How was your show tonight?
Hey, how you doing? It was amazing. Baltimore showed mad love, and we did the same.
And where are you from?
Atlanta, Georgia, originally.
So are a lot of the different cast members from all over the place, or?
Yes. We are from the West Coast all the way to the West. The West Coast all the way to the East, excuse me.
Well, it was a really amazing show tonight. Have you had any other kind of experiences like this, like marching band, drum corps, anything like that?
Well, I'm a graduate of Allen University, product of Atlanta Public Schools, South Atlanta High School. Drumline Live is one of the greatest shows on stage to ever touch a theater. And it's nothing like this on the earth. There's nothing like this that showcases the HBCU culture in the way that we do. And if you wasn't here, you missed it.
Yeah, I agree. It was a really, really great show. It was one of the first times I've actually seen HBCU, actually. I went to the Collegiate Marching Band Festival in Pennsylvania, and I saw Morgan State for the first time last year, even though I've been in the marching arts for pretty much my whole life. So it's been really awesome to see what you guys could do.
Yes, indeed. It's always a blessing for us to showcase our talent to people who haven't seen it. We know up north and sometimes in the Midwest and on the West Coast, the HBCU culture is not as present as it is on the East Coast. So we love to share our talent, share our culture and values with the other side of the world.
Cool. All right, and where can we find your social media, like for Drumline or yourself?
You can follow me on Instagram at CTDC3XJUNE. You can follow us on all platforms at Drumline Live ENT. Again, at Drumline Live ENT.
All right, thank you so much, D'Angelo.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Okay, everyone, we are starting a new segment this week where we go off against something that is bugging us in the marching arts world. We are calling it Hydrate This. So, let's start with Trish. Trish, did you say you had something prepared? What bothers you this week?
Okay, so Ashlee was mentioning TIA before. Ashlee, are your kids going to Wildwood?
We're not, just because it's the first year and it's a little expensive.
It is. So here's the tea. So in addition to my high school guard, I also have an independent guard that's kind of an offshoot of the high school guard. Okay, so one of my friends who's been helping me the last couple of years, who I worked with many years ago, when we used to go to Wildwood, every year Wildwood rolls around, it's like, take them to Wildwood. It's the best weekend. Like this is the best. This is only the second year of the program. So this will be the best way to jump it off. Like the kids will get hooked, whatever. Remember all the years we went bonding and it was so great, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I kept saying, I don't great idea. And actually it works out really well because it's so, the obvious answer always is, but it makes the season so long. But it actually works out for us because it gives us that time to focus on the high school team. The high school team will be done at main championships. And then we can backload some of the shows, the 4 shows we need for Wildwood to the end.
Yeah.
And then, so it all works out. But I just kept saying, I don't know if we're going to have the money. So finally, I had a come to Jesus moment with the kids last Saturday. And I said, look, are we doing this? Are we going to be able to raise the money? Well, we all want to go. I said, well, you got to start. Like I gave them a fundraiser. You got to start. So I put the guard's Venmo. We're doing that calendar thing. I put the guard Venmo on the calendar, and all week my phone's been blowing up. So-and-so fundraiser. So-and-so. I was like, okay. So I tried to register for Wildwood. The Wildwood registration was supposed to close February 1st. It is closed already.
Oh yeah, I did see that, and I thought it was supposed to be longer.
They said they said they're at capacity. So I reached out to our region coordinator and I said, well, what can we do? And he's like, I don't know, just get on the waiting list. So we're 4th on the waiting list. So it's so rock and a hard place for me because, here it is, I pushed the kids into raising this money because I didn't want to register early because I didn't know if we could commit to it. And now it might be too late. And, it's just things that are bugging me. That's bugging me. So hopefully that, the way they explained it to me is that, 3 people have to not come up with the money by the designated date. And which could happen, and we could get in. So I have people, reaching out to me, what can we do, blah, blah, blah. But, I finally got the kids to commit. And now we don't, now we're on the waiting list. So that's bugging me.
Know there was a capacity for it.
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
I haven't brought a team to Wildwood in many years, but I guess, I don't know. I guess.
I've been to there probably 10 times, but I have actually never competed because I was always young. Yeah, well, my parents brought groups there, but I was always way too young to do it. So I've been plenty, but never performed there.
Yeah. Might be us the same boat this year. Who knows? But keep your fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed, send good vibes, and maybe it'll all work out.
Yeah, you have to do some robbery. I think you should steal the funds from other ensembles because then they can't go. You'd move up on the list. You'd also have the funds to go. Two birds
one of my
with
friends
stone.
commented on my Facebook. One of my friends somebody I know commented on my Facebook post about it. He's a judge. And he's like, oh, I'm so excited you're going to be bringing them. I can't wait to judge them. I said, at this point, I might be sneaking them in on a break so don't go to the bathroom.
Sneaking in the whole floor. Yeah, no one will know.
We will now
All right.
take a 10-minute break, and here comes envy, right?
All right. Ashlee, what's been bugging you?
Well, it's not really, it's kind of like within my own community, I think. So it sort of has to do with the marching arts. So I'm going to slip it in here for some publicity. So our county is like struggling with funding right now. Like the Board of Education has their request for funds, and our county executive has given us the legally minimum required amount of funds instead of raising it to what the Board of Education thinks we need. Mm-hmm. So there's like a bunch of programs that could potentially be cut, like all county band, all county strings, all county chorus. It says after school activities, so I have no idea what that means. I don't know if that's marching band. I don't know what that is. There's like a bunch of teacher positions that could be cut. It's like a whole crap show.
That seems really helpful to education. Yeah, just get rid of the teachers. It'll help the bottom line. Who needs them?
Is that right?
Fine. We don't need teachers. They are like getting rid of librarians, and
my goodness,
it is absolute madness here in Cecil, Tucky. Let me tell you.
Wow.
Well, I agree. I've got a bone to pick with public school funding.
We're gonna get through it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as you can pull that
like
stuff.
Fully funded by ourselves. So I mean, I don't know what more they could possibly take away from us.
Isn't that kind of crazy that that's like what band programs need nowadays, though, is they need like a whole entire band booster organization that's like fully solvent on its own,
we are
just so
fully
that the high school can have a marching band.
That's unbelievable.
It's crazy. Yep. Cindy, you got a bone to pick?
Well, I don't know if it's a bone to pick, and it's really isn't until November, but I have a gripe. My gripe is, I don't know if y'all have ever been to Grand Nationals, but they have upped the number of bands to 118. And they already, if you guys have been, you're already starting Thursday morning, and you're going till, I don't know, 11 o'clock Thursday night, all day Friday night. How are they going to fit 8 more bands into this schedule? I mean, I just can't
midnight.
I don't know
how until midnight.
It's crazy, because then you got to be back at 6. Some of these poor kids are going to be having a call time at 2 or 3 a.m. and they just don't even go to bed. I mean, just keep on playing. You know, you can do this. And I don't know how they're going to fit this in. And not only the kids, but the volunteers that are supposed to be on their feet all those hours, and they're not young. And so I'm kind of astonished, really, that I don't know if they plan to add a day, which I don't think there's no way they could add a Wednesday. It's already a full schedule. But I'm just kind of astonished that they think they can let's just add 8 more. And yeah, no big deal. We got this. Y'all got this.
Money, 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 money.
I guess. I don't know. Somebody explain it to me.
But I mean, the flip side of it is that they are giving 8 more groups the opportunity. I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it. So it's a good thing for the kids.
Yeah. They could do the waiting list.
Oh, no. Not another waiting list.
Dan, do you got something to gripe about?
Well, this one might be a bit controversial.
Oh, okay.
In our amongst our staff, we are varied ourselves. The use of electronics in marching band.
Oh, good stuff.
Okay.
If it's done well, great. But just because so and so did it doesn't mean you have to do it. And, use it for its intended purpose. Use it when it's great for your show. You know, if you got a smaller band and you need to mic them, all right. But that doesn't mean we need to bring out all the electronic instruments just to say, hey, look what we can do. Look what we got. Make it worthwhile. Make it enjoyable. Make it entertaining. You know, that's even amongst our own staff, we go back and forth on that one.
Oh, you've really activated something.
I've got a few fuses on that one.
I feel my blood pressure boiling. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to just do it because someone else did it.
There's so many strong opinions on both sides of that argument.
I mean, I know it. You got Western Carolina on this episode too, which is kind of interesting because we had looked at some of their shows and like, wow, how are they doing that? How are they bringing all this stuff together? It's done so well. And then you look at some other shows, you go, wow, that did not need to happen. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So that's where I'll leave it on that one.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely feel that way. I have plenty of choice opinions about some percussion independent world groups in WGI where I don't got to let all my dirty laundry out today, but I don't think that they need to do what they do either. Oh boy, what am I gonna gripe about?
I don't think you started. I think you need to finish the point you were just making.
Just piggyback on it. Why not?
Yeah.
Boy. All right. I hate MCM. That's my problem.
1 hour later.
That's your right.
Okay. Shuffles papers. Let's begin. No, I actually want to complain about people. This one's near and dear to my heart because I'm a bass drummer. No other percussion people on the call, but bass drummers always feel like they don't need chops or they don't need to actually be good at drumming because they just want to play splits and just, split, and they don't need to be able to actually do good drumming. I'm out here trying to change all that with my bass line at United. I've got them working down to the bone. We're just really, really working hard. But it's something I come across all the time, man. I don't know if you guys would even be aware of this because you're not like drumline people necessarily, but a lot of bass drummers out there just really, they don't drum. They just hang out. They're hanging out in the back. Yeah. They're vibing it in. They would tell you all the time that they're just back there vibing it in. That's what they would tell you straight up. Stop. Stop and please be
They're just vibing.
For me, the bass drums are the most important part of the drum line because if they're not together, it doesn't work. They can't jive if they're not locked in. They can't jive if they got to put the work in to make it musical.
Yes, say it louder for the bass drummer in the back with no chops. He's got
the one that's vibing.
The one that's just vibing in the back.
To this. Don't kill his vibe.
You're ruining my vibe, man. All right, it's time for the news. Cool. First story here. Why don't Dan, I think this one's yours. Can you get us started?
Sure. We got Jonesboro High School from Georgia. I was currently working on that viral fame of performing on a commercial for Apple Music. And so since they've been performing with Apple Music, the band director says his phone's been lit up and the kids are loving it. They're watching more football because it's all during NFL games is when this ad is coming out. So Jonesboro High School, awesome job.
That's so crazy. Who do you need to know to line up getting your marching band on a Super Bowl ad?
I don't know.
How'd you do that?
But it's awesome.
That is so cool.
It looks good. It sounds good. It's great.
Yeah, it looks good, sounds good. And I guess someone's got to do it. Like if someone wants a marching band in an ad, someone's going to be that marching band. So that's cool. That's luck. Not luck, it's skill on someone's part. But it's pretty cool.
I think that maybe the Marching Ravens might ought to be in a Super Bowl commercial.
We'd love it. We'd love it.
I agree. I think that every band should have a full-size band, or every NFL team should have a full-size band.
I agree.
But I'll get off my soapbox for now. Next story. Who's got our next one?
I think that would be me. And it's another story from Maryland. It's another cool story about high schooler. This is a young man from El Salvador who's only been in America a few years. And he decided he wanted to go to the University of Maryland because that would be close to home. He plays instruments. He plays the drums, and he's learning to play the bass guitar. He plays piano. Obviously, he's a talented young man. But when he found out he made it into the University of Maryland, he found out a very unusual way. The some of the members of the University of Maryland band showed up at his front door and played some songs, and that was how they let him know
Aw.
he had made it into the university. So that was
It's awesome.
really, really cool story. And the mascot was there. So
Dang. They're rolling out the red carpet for him.
yeah.
That's
And they let
cool.
him play some drums, and he's pretty awesome. So maybe you
Nice.
should talk to him, Steve.
Maybe I should. Yeah, I could. He better not be a bass drummer.
He's
Or if
not.
he is, he better have chops. All right. Next story. I think this is Ashlee, right?
Yeah. So the new DCI CEO, I have no idea how to say his last name, Nate Goudreau. Maybe it's that. He had an interview with Dan Potter about like his first 2 months on the job and how it's going and all of that. I think it's super interesting, and I'm like so curious to see how it's going to go, seeing that he's not like a drum corps person, a band person at all.
Right.
He says has a really unique opportunity because he has an outside perspective, and he's super successful like in a business standpoint and like economically and all of that. So he said it's going really well. Dan Atchison is helping him like through the ropes and all
That's
of that.
cool.
He said in his interview, Dan had told Nate, "You tell me how much or how little you want me around and how much help you want." So that's cool that he's like trying to help him, being like trying to not step on his toes and let him fly like a bird, spread his wings.
It's good. We talk about this one a lot because it's obviously a really big deal, and we cover news every week. I think it's cool because like the issue with band hasn't been band. The shows have been great. The members have been enjoying it. The shows get better every year. Band isn't the issue. It's like everything else. And I kind of think that the new CEO is a guy that brings practically nothing about band and brings everything else to the table potentially for the activity. So I'm at least very optimistic to see what he can do to make it more sustainable or just shift it up. Maybe he's just got some good ideas and it makes everything more fun. Who knows? But it'll be cool to see as he gets beyond 2 months what he can do for the activity. Trish, you got our next story?
Yes. So the information for this upcoming year's WGICon 2024 has been announced. It will be held September 6th through 8th, and it will be held in San Francisco. So early bird registration is open now if you wanted to get in on that early. There is also an opportunity on the WGI website. If you go to wgi.org/WGICon, there's an application if you'd like to apply for a scholarship to go to WGICon. So sounds like, really good thing, that if you always wanted to go and weren't able to do so for, obvious reasons, there's an application you could fill out for possibly get a scholarship so you could attend.
That would be really interesting. I always wonder what they get into out there because the only thing I really know WGICon for is like the rules meeting where they like debate the rules. It's usually all a bunch of directors.
There are some little recap videos on the website that you could watch. I believe that they have a lot of clinics on a bunch of different topics and things like that. So yeah. Just probably.
I think it'd be cool to go.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah,
probably some design. Probably some design.
Wait, Jeremy,
things.
hello.
We're going. New segment.
Would like to apply for the On a Water Break scholarship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someday we'll be running the board at WGICon.
Hello.
Cool. Yeah, anyone who's in that area should go check it out or, make the trip even if you're not in the area. Hey, why not? There's a scholarship that may help make it more achievable. Check it out. Everyone else, thank you for a great rehearsal this week. Thanks to our hosts, Trish, Ashlee, Cindy, and thank you, Dan, for coming on, telling us a bunch about the Baltimore Ravens. This one has been definitely the most NFL-centric episode of On a Water Break that we've had.
And I'm here for it.
I am
Me
living
too.
for it, is exactly right. All the non-football band people that listen are going to have something coming this week. But it was fun.
Me.
It was good. Yeah, thank you for coming on, man.
And good luck this weekend.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck as you round out the season. I'm not even just saying this, you're genuinely who I'm rooting for. So please keep it going. But everybody go subscribe, write us a review, and share this with a friend. You can follow us on social media at On a Water Break, and we will see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Go practice.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.